All right, you know what time it is. It's time for our Ask the Doctor segment. You send us the questions. We'll ask the doctor to get you answers right here on the air. So Dr. Katelin Mirkin, a surgeon with Mercy Bariatric and General Surgery, is here. Thanks for being with us.
Of course.
So we got some really interesting questions all over the gamut today. So we're going to start off with a question from Rick. He asks, what are the usual warning signs of testicular cancer?
Well, Rick, you want to look for a firm, painless mass on one of the testicles. It's usually not on both, okay? It's usually painless. People also describe a sense of heaviness on that one side. If you find this, it is important that you see a doctor, especially if you have a family history or if you've had an undescended testicle in the past. I will also warn you, though, that there are other things that cause a painless mass in the testicles, things that are much more common than testicular cancer. But testicular cancer is very curable. A 95% cure rate if found early. So if you find something, talk to your doctor.
Yeah, and that's a great statistic. Glad to hear that. Well, Sarah wants to know, she says, I have a ton of friends with fertility issues. Is there anything women can change about diet or exercise that can help?
It's a great question, Sarah. There's actually a lot of different things that you can do. So following a Mediterranean diet actually has a really strong association with improving fertility. Practicing 30 to 60 minutes of physical exercise a day also improves your fertility. Taking folic acid can increase conception rates. You also want to try to maintain a healthy BMI, and that means both not being underweight or being overweight. Now, I do want to say the onus is not just on women. There's things that men can do too, okay? Yeah. They need to also follow a healthy weight, a healthy diet, exercising. They don't want to exercise too much because excessive exercise can actually decrease fertility in men. They're going to want to avoid excessive alcohol or caffeine, processed meats or red meat, and drugs like e-cigarettes or marijuana.
Okay, well, they've got their work cut out for them, right?
Yeah.
Got to be really healthy. All right, Ben asks, now that it's getting warmer outside, when do you need to apply deodorant and which ones work the best?
So dermatologists actually recommend that you apply deodorant the night before on clean, dry skin. Really? Aluminum-based deodorants work because when that aluminum reacts with the sweat inside the sweat gland, it dissolves and creates this gelatinous plug that actually blocks the duct from secreting both moisture and odor. But that takes 6 to 8 hours to work, so you want to give it some time overnight. I will say that a lot of the concerns about aluminum causing cancer have widely been debunked. There's no real credible evidence to support that. People that use natural deodorants sometimes think that that might be a little bit better for them, but dermatologists actually caution that they can cause a lot of contact dermatitis and rashes because of the herbal extracts or essential oils or baking soda in them. So take all of that into account when choosing your deodorant.
Okay, good information. Well, Debbie wants to know, I've seen on social media that dishwasher pods leave melted microplastic residue on your dishes and silverware. What kind of health impacts can this have?
Support. Little pods that these pods are in are made of polyvinyl alcohol, PVAs. PVAs are also used in things like our contacts, our contact solution, cosmetics, the little capsules in extended release pills. This material is widely supported by the EPA, the FDA, and even food safety organizations from both Canada and Europe. So there's no real need to freak out about this. Now, microplastics are a concern and a health concern, and we're learning more and more about those. Some of it we worry about oxidative stress or inflammation that they cause, but we don't really have good evidence in long term as to how these impact humans yet.
Okay, great information. Thanks so much. And if you have a question you want to ask the doctor, go to our website, submit your questions at firstalert4.com/askthedoctor. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Mirkin. Sure.